All right, it looks like we've got a number of the attendees in, so we're going to jump in and get started. Today, we're talking about maximizing enterprise software sales with explainer videos, product tours, demos, and trials. I think this is going to be a great presentation. I'm really excited to have everybody in, and I've got the chat window open. Feel free to jump in with questions. I'm happy to answer them. I might not see them right away, but I would love to take your questions and make sure that I'm providing some valuable information for everybody that's attending today. So if you don't know, I'm the CEO of Insivia, started the company 15 years ago. We are a strategic marketing agency, and we really focus on three primary things. First, strategic consulting, which is about brand development, brand positioning, helping people create a way to take their business to market through branding and logos. Digital, which is our web and interactive, and marketing, where we provide retainers for search optimization, inbound marketing, and a wide range of solutions. We primarily work with companies in the technology space, which is why we have some unique insight to some of the things that we're talking about today with enterprise software sales, and specifically some of the tools that we're going to be diving in to talk to you about today. So I just want to high level give you an idea, some of the topics that I'm going to dive into so you have a sense. So we're really going to be looking at something that I call Revenue Map, which is a great tool that helps you understand how you build a marketing system. We're going to talk about the content matrix, 4 must-have tools for software companies, which is the title of this presentation, the customer journey, steps to creating an effective lead tool, how to build a system around your tools, and why onboarding and risk can make or break success for software companies. So let's dive in and get started. The first place that I like to talk about is revenue. At the end of the day, everything that we do should drive back to trying to get our goals of growing top line revenue. How do we get more leads in, push them through our funnel, and increase our sales opportunities so that we can grow our business? And I love this little meme that's money can't buy happiness, but poverty can't buy anything. We always really want to make sure that anything we do from a marketing tactic standpoint drives back to the fact that we are trying to get goals achieved, and that ties back to the revenue of the business and the profitability that we're trying to achieve. One of the first places to start, and I talk about this in many of the presentations that I have, is that everything in sales and marketing is a funnel. And it's about optimizing that funnel that can have huge effect on your business. That at the top of the funnel, you're creating awareness for your brand and for your product, and you're driving as many people in at the top and moving them down through conversion and engagement into the sales process. And optimizing the funnel is about the process of making each stage in that process better. So at awareness that we're getting the right targets in, so the right people that are ready to buy are really the ones that are truly filling the top of our funnel. That we're engaging with those people in the right way, we're converting as many people as possible, and we're moving everyone down. And we want to avoid having holes in our bucket when we're talking about sales. So one thing to remember is that every step in the process is a chance to win and lose customers. And I think this is an important note, is that the second that we show an ad out on the web, and if someone decides to click or they decide not to click, we've either won or lost them in that part of the stage. If they get to our site and they leave right away, we've lost them versus them clicking in and we win them. And it goes on down the line that as they view their second page, they download a white paper, they engage with that white paper, they open an email. Every step that we engage with a customer is a chance to win and lose them. And we have to remember that so that we can think about each piece of the pie and each piece of the process that we're going through to make sure that we're optimizing it appropriately. Now, I love our revenue map, and we talk about this often, is that it describes the holistic picture of what a marketing system should look like. On the left-hand side, we have the tactics that we use to gain awareness for our business. Things like search optimization, direct people directly typing in our URL, networking, sponsorship, pay-per-click advertising, events, whatever it might be. And all of those things typically drive into three places: a website, a microsite, or a landing page. If we're doing something like an event and handing out a business card, someone might go to our website. For search optimization, we may have created an industry-focused microsite that is optimized for certain key phrases and drives people into a microsite. Or if we're doing a pay-per-click campaign or a direct mail campaign, we're driving people to a landing page that focuses in on conversion. Now, two things happen when people come to a site. We either want them to make a decision and contact us, and that's typically the goal that's most important, is that fill out a form, make a phone call, purchase something. But the reality is that 98% of our visitors are not ready to convert right away. They're not going to make that big decision. They're just doing research. And that's where content marketing has come in, with things like ebooks and calculators and videos that we offer up. And if we provide value, people will give us their contact information, even though they're not ready to buy, and we can move them up into this right-hand corner as warm leads into marketing automation. And now marketing automation allows us to send messages on an automated basis to those people that are interested, so that we can stay in touch with them over time without having it to be a manual process, and bring them back into our funnels to try and drive them into that hot lead conversion of a form, a phone call, or a purchase, which pushes them into our sales system, our CRM, so that we can do meetings, phone calls, and proposals. Now, I often say that if you're missing pieces of this revenue map, you have a hole in your marketing funnel. People are dropping out. A lot of times, customers don't do the biggest piece, which is ebooks and calculators and things to get people into a nurture, because they're not ready, they don't have the time. But it's a huge hole because the majority of your visitors aren't ready to buy today. And so we really have to be doing those tactics to do all of this right. Now, when looking at our funnel, we typically look at a couple stages. Awareness, which is pay-per-click advertising, search optimization. It gets us in front of our target audience. Engagement catches their attention, gets them interested, gets them engaged with our brand. Conversion, that we're trying to get them to take an action, sign up for a webinar, download a white paper, fill out our form, whatever it might be. Nurturing, where we follow up with them and throughout the process stay in touch so that we continue to push our message. And then finally closing, getting them into the sales process to actually get them to be a customer. And typically we describe that as two things: marketing qualified leads and sales qualified leads. A marketing qualified lead is someone that's just on the outside, versus they eventually get into a sales qualified lead after they've reached a certain point of engagement with our brand. Now, diving into the meat of what we're talking about today with some of the tools that you can use with software, one of the first places to start is what I call the content map. And I think this is a great tool to visualize and understand. That on the top, we've got a bar that shows from awareness to purchase, and on the side, we have emotional to rational. And really, this is different people at different stages of the buying cycle and different mindsets, and you use different content at those different times. So as an example, someone that is looking to be entertained and they're in the awareness stage and they're very emotional might want something that's viral or a quiz or a competition. But as they move down and they need to be convinced and they're further in the purchase stage and they're rational about their decision, it's things like checklists and calculators and webinars to move them forward in that process. And so really what we have to understand is making sure that we have a wide range of content that no matter what place someone is in their buying cycle or the way they look at making decisions, that we're offering tools to help them move further into the process. And that's what the content map does, is really help us understand that not only should we be creating a wide range of content, but where we can make sure we're fitting that content in our process to be most effective to move people further along in the funnel. The thing about creating great content, there are three things that I tend to look at. One, value. I'm a huge fan of creating value. If you understand your target audience, their pains, their challenges, and you can create something that's really valuable to their needs, solves their problem, gives them information that's going to be helpful, you've created something that is truly going to engage and convert. But it's got to match the stage. So it has to fit when they're in the buying, at what point they're in the buying cycle. And that's why we need to create many things of different value that are at different stages in the buying process, which relates to that content map that we just looked at. And the last is relevance. And this kind of mixes between the two, but really relevance to their needs and the product. And if we can hit that mark right in the center, we create great content that actually gets us really powerful results. Now we understand that a customer takes a journey. They start out and they're aware of us, they engage, they move through the process, and they're really getting to understand our business. They may interact with a salesperson, move to a sales engineer, talk to other people, see proposals, potentially see pricing pages. Everything's a journey. And we're learning as marketers that the journeys are becoming more unique and they're mixed up, that people are coming in at different levels. But no matter what, people are moving through a process. And so really today, what we're talking about are 4 tools for software products that are perfect for different stages in the journey that a customer typically takes when they're looking to buy software. And one thing that you should really do is, if you're looking at building a marketing program for yourself, is map out what that customer journey is. How do you imagine that people will walk through the process of being aware of your business, evaluating it, comparing decisions and bringing in decision makers and moving through that process? Now for today's discussion with explainer videos, product tours, demos, and trials, they do fit at different stages of our process. And so really explainer videos sit at the top, awareness, which we'll get into a little bit more. Product tours are at the next stage. Demos and then trials are close to our sales process. And now if you're selling software, these truly are 4 key tools that are very powerful in moving people through that customer journey, pushing them through our funnel to get them into sales. And so we're going to go in and we're going to dissect each of these a little bit more so that we can understand how we can create tools that are truly effective to what we're doing from a marketing perspective. The first place we'll start is explainer videos. And now there's some great examples out there of different explainer videos, and typically they're animation. Sometimes they can be real live video, but they walk through the process or through our software like an elevator pitch. If you're not familiar with an elevator pitch, it's you get into an elevator in 7 seconds as you go up the floors and someone says, "What do you do?" And in those 7 seconds, you have to concisely describe what your business does and what it provides. And so these are really great for top of the funnel. We use them for awareness. We can post them on social media. We can use them in ads on LinkedIn for promoted content. We can get them to be shared. We can use them as a lot of these top level funnel to first get awareness, but also provide people a very simple elevator pitch for what we're offering so that we can move them to the next stage. Again, they're typically in video and animation format, and there's a lot of different animation formats that you can go into, and there's some great explainer videos out there. Binary Defense is one that we did recently. It explains the product in a very concise type. The next thing about explainer videos is, how do you effectively tell that story? We only have a short period of time, and we typically look at these videos as being 1 minute, 1 minute, 30 seconds, so that they're not overwhelming, or we're able to get our message in the time period that people typically watch. We have a couple ways of telling our story. The first one, and the one that I prefer, is problem, fix, outcome. And what problem, fix, outcome is, it's really this model of how do you describe what the challenge is that your customer is facing, how your product fixes it, and then what's the outcome, the emotional feel, the benefit that they get from it. And this model works really well when you're building a story for your explainer video, that you break it into those parts of really explaining the pain, the fix, and then the outcome that they get. This is great for really, truly the top of that funnel is for people that are either uneducated about the industry or your product so that they can truly understand high level about what you're doing. The other side of explainer videos is to get a little bit more into the feature benefit. You can walk through specifically, this is what our software does, here's a feature, and here's the benefit that it provides. This is nice people that really understand the market or we feel like have seen software like this before and don't need to be explained what the problem is or what the outcome is. They really need to get into the nitty-gritty. So I think it depends a lot on your target audience, which one of these methods that you use, but both of them can work really well for creating a storyboard for your explainer video. Now, I dive a little bit into problem, fix, outcome because I do think it's a great model, but it's really about clearly understanding your target audience's pain. No matter what we do in marketing, that is a key thing that we're always trying to do, is understand what challenges are they facing every day that we can help solve either through marketing as well as our product. Now, value propositions are the things that make us different from our competitors. And so often we're trying to create value propositions. Now, we have a process in our brand positioning approach called the strategy canvas. And the strategy canvas, which you can see below here, what it does is it maps out specific features that you offer, and then it maps out you versus two of your competitor groups. And what you do to find value propositions is look for the greatest variance between you and your primary competitors. And when you're able to do that, and we look in this example as a software product, if security, integrations, and being focused on the legal industry are what make us different, we have three key value propositions that we can make sure that we include as within our problem, fix, outcome model. And so the strategy canvas is a great exercise that you can go through. And there's a lot of stages to it. But if you can get your leadership team and the rest of your company involved, you can really figure out how you differentiate yourself from competitors. The other side of it is the need, feel, want ladder, which I don't have a visual here, but the outcome should be a lot about the benefits and feelings that someone's going to get. How are they going to feel after you fix the problem that they have? And so we really look at the emotional ladder that talks about, this is my need, here's what I want, but this is how I feel. And breaking it down to those true feelings that a customer is going to have after they've implemented our software. Now the next stage after explainer videos is product tours. So this is the next piece down in our funnels. We've used an explainer video to gain awareness, to give someone a high-level view of what our software does. And now we use a product tour, which is typically on a website. It's almost like a gallery. Sometimes it's a long scrolling page where people can really go into the nitty-gritty of the features that you offer and the benefits that those provide. And people can walk through that process. Now, the difference between an explainer video and product tour, again, that explainer video is that high-level elevator pitch. The product tour is the confirmation that this software does what I'm looking for. And so we're looking to match specific needs of our target audience and make them confident that they could convert into trialing or the demo that we have next. Now, one nice thing about most product tours as well is that they're a go at your own pace. They're not like what we'll talk about soon, demos and trials, but they're really something that somebody can click through, take their time and read. They can click back and forth versus an explainer video that really just tries to give somebody the information quickly. The other side of it is we always talk about marketing language versus sales language. Marketing language is high level, it's simple, it's meant to give people an idea. Sales language has nuance and information that can help people make a decision. Product tours tend to play a little bit in the middle of marketing and sales language. You want to make sure that you're high level enough that they can scan and get across the information that they're looking for, but nuanced enough that they can be confident that the software matches the features that you're looking for. One thing that I do think is important when we're talking about product tours is the experience matters. If someone is going to use a software and they're going to convert into a demo or a trial or whatever their next step is, they want to be confident that the experience is going to be good. And if the experience that's in our product tour is not good, most likely people are not going to convert because they're going to feel that the software is going to have the same negative experience. And so really we want to make sure not only the tool is a good experience, but we have a great user experience and user interface for our software. So when we're showing screenshots, they should look like a software that I want to dive into and I feel like I can intuitively use. One challenge that I see is that a lot of companies build a software from a tech perspective and they don't take the time to build out a great UI. And then when they put those screenshots on the web, it reduces their amount of conversions because people aren't excited to dive in and use the software. The other thing is make sure you show enough features that visitors can find what they're looking for. This doesn't mean that you show every feature because you don't want to overwhelm, but you want to make sure you get them past that event horizon. The event horizon is in a black hole, the place where people can either dangle outside or they get sucked in. We want to make sure that we show enough that people are really intrigued to move into that next stage. So, our explainer videos from a high level have given our elevator pitch. We've moved people into a product tour so that they can match their needs to the features and feel confident that they want to move forward. And now we want to move them into a demo. And that's typically the primary action. And this is where this is typically a demo is for more enterprise softwares versus your lower tiered software as a service. But if you do use it as a lower tier software as a service company, it can provide huge value. And so a demo is typically something that's done with a salesperson, either over a go-to meeting or something else where you're engaging. And so a demo is a go-to meeting, a WebEx, whatever it might be, where someone is walking through the software, answering questions, and providing a true experience to help someone match their needs, their problems, and all of those things to what you have to offer and doing it with a human. Now, demos are a great chance to answer questions. You can show a product tour, but someone's always going to have questions that need to be answered. They're going to want them further in. And we can really provide that true sales nuance that we couldn't in our explainer video or our product tour. We can provide the information that people need to make a decision. The other thing is we can create a relationship. If a salesperson is involved explaining the process, it's an opportunity for them to build rapport and help the customer understand that there's someone on the other line that cares about their problems, there's a future to the product, and they will be supported. This is also our opportunity to tell stories. A demo shouldn't just be about showing off the features and be cut and dry. A demo has to be about those things of relationship and support and about telling stories of how past customers have won. And so demos are a really powerful tool that after you've gotten somebody further into the process, you can really get them engaged and move them truly into that sales end of the piece. And I think it's powerful to have demos led by real humans rather than just an automated video or something else like that. Now, the last tool that we typically talk about is trials. So a demo is something that you do in person, you go through a process and you get to engage. A trial is where someone gets to use the software on their own. And this is where we get buy-in. Because up to this point, we've really just been showing. But right now, once we get somebody to convert into a trial, they get the chance to use it for themselves, dig in, and the opportunity to really convince themselves that they want to spend the money and move forward in the sales process. Now, one interesting fact is that 70% of people who register for a free trial never actually open the product. And we're going to talk about in a second some ways that you can mitigate that. I think the reason that there's numbers out there like that is many people don't take the steps to make sure that a trial is as effective as possible so that they can get more people that do actually sign up, engaged, and move further into the sales process. Now with trials, there's different ways that you can handle it. You could do 15 to 30 days free. You could do a money back guarantee. Typically, if you're talking about a larger software with a bigger implementation, you can have some sort of guarantee. There are different ways to handle it, and it depends on your audience, the type of software, and how they'll be engaged. You want a longer trial if you have a software that is going to take time for people to really understand how it fits in their organization. But we have to remember that a trial is not a sale. And that's really going to dive into our next topic. But remember that even if you've gotten somebody into a trial, that does not mean that they're closed. Whether it's a money back guarantee or it's a 30-day free trial, they are not a customer yet. Now, things that we want to do during our trial to make sure that it moves from a trial into a sale are, one, engage beyond the app. Don't just give them the trial, they sign up, and they're left alone. You need to do some follow-up calls, send emails, get them into an automated process for onboarding so that you can really engage with them beyond just them trialing your software. You have to think about all stakeholders. Someone in an organization might trial software, but they may not be the decision maker. How do you make sure that your trial and that engagement process includes other stakeholders that need to make decisions or need to buy in to the trial that someone in the organization is doing? We want to design our trial for conversion. We want to make sure that we're putting sample data in there so people aren't overwhelmed with a blank slate. We want to make sure that we have clear actions for them to convert their trial into a paid account. We want to have clear actions for them to provide feedback or ask questions. And so we have to design our trials to be as effective as possible. And then the last piece is measure and test. In marketing, we do things like look at analytics data. We test landing pages that increase conversion. Well, if we've got a trial going and it's a piece of software, we should be doing the same thing. We should be having analytics on there so we can see how long are people spending on the software, where are they going most, where are they dropping off, and even running tests to see if we add buttons in certain places or do other things, will get people to convert more often from their trial into a sale. And so that 70% number that we talked about, the people not engaging with trials that they signed up with, if we follow these four things, we really have a significantly better chance of making sure they utilize the trial and keep moving further in the process with the funnel. The next stage is landing pages. One thing I wanted to dive into real quickly is that our explainer videos and our product tours and our other tools that we're trying to get to people to convert typically land on a marketing landing page. To make these things most effective, we want to do that. It's great to create an explainer video, but if we don't use it effectively by putting out in ads, embedding it in landing pages, and setting up the right conversion approaches, we're not going to get the results we need. And so when I talk about landing pages, I typically look at trying to create multiple levels of commitment conversions. So a conversion is someone taking an action. A low-level commitment is someone downloading a white paper or signing up for a newsletter. A medium-level commitment would be a webinar or a tool, because with a webinar, I'm going to have to show up and take the time to do it. High commitment is something like a form, a trial, a demo, making a phone call. And so whenever we're creating an ad and we put our explainer video in the ad, someone lands on the page, we show them a quick product tour, we should make sure that they have multiple levels of ways that they can convert, no matter where they are in their buying cycle or in their mindset of how they're evaluating the product. The thing that goes wrong is if we put this stuff out there, we get to a landing page, we show a little bit of information, and the only thing to do is to sign up for a trial. Because if someone's not ready, we don't have any other actions for them to take. The other piece that is extremely important in all of this, and it goes beyond our tools of explainer videos, product tours, trials, and demos, onboarding. It's great to have somebody sign up for a trial or even convert into a sale, but if we don't onboard them appropriately, we will lose them as a customer. And so really we want to make sure that we're doing things when they sign up, like sending a thank you email with support information, customer service contacts, or what next step they should take in trying out the software. We should set up an automation campaign so that they automatically get touch points over the next 30 days while they're signed up for the trial. And then when they actually convert into a purchase, another automation campaign that gets them engaged while they're an initial customer still making the decision. And then we want to make it personal and use real people. We want to send out emails from Joe at our company. We want to make sure that they feel like they're getting a real person on support, because during the onboarding process, that warm and fuzzy can really make sure that we keep customers in our trials, move them forward, and keep them as paying customers. Now, one of the biggest blows and killers to any software company is attrition of users. If we sign up someone and we've spent this money to generate leads, and we've spent money to push people through the sales process and create these tools, and they've signed up as an actual user, but then they cancel, it is a death blow to a software company to have high attrition rates. It's wasted money, and it's eventually where they end up dying. And so customer service beyond onboarding is such an important piece, and we shouldn't forget it. And we have to also remember that great tools like explainer videos and product tours can actually be used for customer service. Many of the software companies that we work with and that I see out there, when they come out with a new feature, they use an explainer video to talk about that feature so that customers are very aware of what's new, what's possible, and how they can use it and what pain it solves for them. Same thing with product tours. These things can be used after someone actually becomes a customer to create a better experience so that we ensure that we reduce our attrition rates as much as possible. So we've talked about a lot, and it's a summary. I just want to give a summary of some of the things that we've learned today, hopefully. Is first, understand your customer journey and how to increase conversion from one step to another. This is really about truly understanding how you want people to walk through the process, the tools that you'll use at each stage in that process, how to make them most effective, and making sure that you have actions and testing to move people through that funnel. Explainer videos are great for the top of funnel, as well as existing customer engagement. Product tours should show off the UI and specific features to build confidence for them to move forward. Demos are best when it's worth the time for a salesperson to really close the deal and provide the nuance for people to make decisions, as well as bring other stakeholders in. Trials come in different flavors, but they can affect the pre-purchase attrition rates. If you have a good trial and a good setup and you use the right process and right tactics during a trial, you'll reduce the attrition rates that you have during a sale, as well as increasing the number of paying customers that you have. And then lastly, onboarding and customer service are huge pieces of making sure that you're successful. So we've gone through quite a few slides here and talked about a lot of topics, and we've got some time left. If you'd like, please jump into the chat right now, and I'd be happy to answer questions and hopefully provide you a little bit more information. So someone just asked, what are some recommended tools for explainer videos? So there are some ones out there that you can do it yourself, that you're able to typically do stick figures and kind of provide them together. They're pretty inexpensive. Some of them are monthly fees, but most people underestimate the effort that it does take to do it on your own. If you are an early startup, you can use some of those tools to get something out there, but you have to be willing to put in that sweat equity, which can be pretty challenging. There are some explainer video services out there that are pretty low cost but they typically use stock and generic information. And then there's companies like Incivia where we have an animator on staff and we work with customers not just through creating the explainer video, but truly writing that problem fix outcome, creating a storyboard, walking through the process of how we create something that's branded well to them, and then producing an animation that's really effective, as well as how do you then utilize it. So there's a number of ways that definitely create explainer videos. It just kind of depends on your budget and how effective you really want it to be at the end of the day in producing results. Any other questions that anyone has? Okay. So someone just asked about what type of awareness techniques are best for explainer videos. So if you're using an explainer video, one great thing that we love and has found effective is to use it as promoted content on LinkedIn. LinkedIn allows you to really target your visitors or really target your audience by their industry, job level, company size, and a number of other factors. And so really you're able to take that explainer video and use it as promoted content and target that audience. The other side is actually Facebook. Many people sit at home and when they see especially software products that relate to their job and solve a problem that they have, they do tend to click on them. And you can do a similar thing with Facebook that you can with LinkedIn, is where you target extremely specific audiences so that you can get that video in front of the right people. Explainer videos are also great for conferences. They're good for putting on landing pages that get conversion. They are really powerful tools for that top level of the funnel. So someone asked recommended tools for product tours. Product tours are typically web pages. You can go as simple as if you have a CMS like WordPress, where you could create a gallery and you put the text on the images or connect the text to it, and that's a very low cost way to create a quick product tour. On the other side, you can obviously engage a firm, a web design firm like Incivia, where you're designing out a true landing page with nice features, where images kind of fade in and the text is connected, it's well written, or even an interactive product tour where people can kind of click through, potentially do other things. One other great thing that we've found is that especially on product tour pages, chat buttons provide a lot of value that people typically at that point want to find out more nuance. And so they're more likely to use that chat. And then that person that's providing answers has a much higher likelihood of pushing someone into a demo or trial. I'm going to leave it open. I'll just wait for another minute or two to see if anybody else has questions. We will send out a link to the slides. Please ignore the one here on this last slide. It's an older presentation. But for all attendees, we are going to be sending out a link to the slides and more information. Again, I'm going to hang out for another minute. Please feel free to type your questions into the chat box, and I'm happy to answer anything that you're looking for. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Feel free to reach out to me or Incivia. We'd love to help you with whether it's your explainer video, product tour, website, or any marketing or sales need that you have related to your software product. Thanks again, everyone.